What is up, guys? ClimaxCombo here. I'm Licious Kid.
I'm Checkers.
And today we have the amazing opportunity to show you guys some exclusive leaks for the new premium booster for RWBY. This set is coming out on June 28th. And for this set, it's just going to be a premium booster. And of course, it works with the old set. And this set will be going over the scenes in Volume 4.
Cool.
So for our cards, we got all the red cards in this set. And since it's a premium booster, this set's going to have neutral rarities, but it also has overframe rares for every card, and some cards have the SP rarity. So we got a bunch of cards to go through, guys, so let's get started.
So for the first card, we have Pyrrha Video Message. It is a level 0. The first effect, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your other remnant characters. That character gets plus 2k power until the end of the turn. Second effect, pay 1, put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room, and put this card into your memory. When this card becomes reversed in battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 remnant character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck.
I think this card's pretty okay. If you guys aren't familiar with the set, the entire set is remnant, so it kind of works with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the 1-0 RWBY TD combo is pretty popular at the time of this recording. So her having the on play gives anything 2k. It's pretty good because that RWBY does have to kill something. So I do think there's some value to this card. Next card, we have this Nora 0-0. First effect, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a character. If you do, draw a card. Second effect, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 clock yourself. If you do, search your deck for a level 1 or lower character, reveal it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So it's a Riki with an on-play hand discard a character to draw a card. Really good. It's a Riki, so you're going to play it. And it has a really good first effect, so...
This is a phenomenal card.
yeah, you're gonna be running it.
For our next level 0, we have this RWBY. If your hand has 5 or more cards, this card gets plus 2k power. And second effect, put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 John School Dance in your waiting room and return it to your hand. This card is pretty neat, 3/5 pretty much all the time. You're going to have 5 cards in your hand. Otherwise, you're doing real bad. But this John, I already forgot. This is the 1-0 RR that combos with the choice from the first set. So if you're running that, you're gonna be running this. Nice support form.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that popular for your Climax lineup, but if you really want to run it, you could. Mm-hmm. Maybe this set will get more synergy with that 1-0 combo. If so, then this has more value. But as of right now, I'm not really feeling this card.
You gotta look out for yellow when that shows up.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got the 0-0 Raven, 1500 power. First effect, when it's placed on stage from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a character, put it in your hand, then choose a card in your hand and discard it. Second effect, when this is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a character. If you do, draw a card.
Double hand fix.
Double hand fix. So this card is okay, but this set also has James Ironwood from the first set,
the god,
who I think does as much hand fixing as you need, so you don't really need any more. And you're going to run the 0-0 Nora that we just talked about, which is pretty similar to this. So I don't think this card really has any place at all. Yeah, because you have so much hand fix with just those 2 cards you're going to be running anyways. Like,
if you like Raven.
If you really like Raven.
Next up, we have another level 0, Crow with a Q. Cool. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top of your deck or into your waiting room. Second effect, return this card to your hand. When your Climax is placed on your Climax area, you may pay cost. If you do, choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus 1 soul until the end of the turn. This card's okay, kind of. I mean, it's a useful on-play effect, and it's the type of card you want to pair with Standby, where you're just going to bring it back to your hand, get a slight bonus for doing that. I'm not aware. Do you know if the old set had one?
I don't think so, but I feel like the set has so many good zeros. I don't know. You have space for this.
Yeah.
Next up, we have this guy, 103K Arthur. When your climax with door and its trigger icon is placed on the climax area, choose one of your characters, gets +1 soul. Second effect, when your other character's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your characters, and that character's +1K until end of turn. Last effect, you can pay 1, rest him, choose one of your characters, and that character gains the following ability until the end of turn, where when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you can choose one character in your waiting room, add it to your hand. I'm not really feeling this card. For this card to really pop off, you need 8 to run the 8 door lineup, and even then, I don't think it's really powerful enough to warrant a slot in your back row. Yeah, and as you'll see later, we think standby is pretty good in the set. Ooh. So I don't think you're gonna be running 8 gate. So unfortunately, I don't think Arthur's really gonna cut the cheese. But if you're running 8 gate, you could try one.
He has a cool mustache. All right, next up, this 1-0 Salem, 3K base. Put one remnant character from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may play cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 Tyrion Inner Circle, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Second effect, when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 1 or lower, you may reverse that character. Well, this card is decent. That Tyrion Inner Circle is actually pretty cool. We'll get to that in a bit. And it's a suicider, so it's not completely like you'll be able to kill something at the same time as preparing your hand for your level 2. It's okay. If you need to include another level 1, this is a decent option, I would say. But
I think this adds enough hand fix. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Although the Tyrion Inner Circle is really good. Next up, we have 105K Hazel. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose one climax with the door and its trigger icon from among them, put to your opponent, add it to your hand, put the rest in the waiting room. If you put a card into your hand, choose one card in your hand, put it into your waiting room. I don't think this card is good enough. It's level 1, first of all, so that's already kind of not good. Second of all, his effect is when he's sent from stage to waiting room. And I feel like if you want to dig for a certain climax, you want to do it on play, because you want to kind of pop off with the climax, I'd imagine, that same turn. But you would have to play over him if you want to do it this turn, on your turn, which you're just going to be negging yourself. So I don't think it's good enough.
Next up, we have this 1-1 Tyrion. Continuous effect. During your turn, this card gets +2K power, making it 6/5. And if the character facing this card is cost 0 or lower, this card cannot be reversed. Common effect nowadays. It's a decent effect, but it's really only useful against certain matchups, so depends on the meta.
Yeah, it really depends on the meta, but it's good to have in the set.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever upset to have this available.
I hate this card sometimes. Next up, we got this 2-1 4K Nora. 3 effects. If you have 4 or more characters, this card gets +6K, making her 10K. Second effect, once placed on stage from your hand, if you have 2 or more other characters, you may then draw 2. If you do, discard 2. Last effect, once placed on stage from your hand, if you have 4 or more characters, choose one character in your waiting room, put it to your stock, so it's free. It's okay, but I don't really think it's good enough. Like we said, we think the set has enough hand fixing, and it's pretty much a 2-1 10K, but if you have a full board, then it becomes free. But even then, I think you'd rather be playing an early drop with the conditions of having 4 or more characters, because it'd be better to use the full field to play something early than having a full field to play this, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, not good.
Got you.
If it was 2-1 2 soul, then we're talking, but it's not.
And this next 2-1 we think is better.
If you want to run a 2-1.
Tyrion. When this card attacks, if the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, this card gets +6K power until the end of turn, making it 13K when fighting level 3. And when this card's level 2 or higher, battle opponent becomes reversed. Reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a remnant character, you may choose one remnant character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. That second effect is really good to pair with that, because when you do kill a level 3, it lets you grab, as long as you don't unluckily hit like a climax or an event, you can grab anything from your waiting room, which is pretty awesome.
+1 for free.
Yeah.
And if your opponents are foolish enough to run into it with level 2 and you back it up, it still works on your opponent's turn, so Ooh. So you can get him with this, but it's a lot better than the last one.
13k.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got this 2/2 6/5 RWBY 2 Soul. First effect, this card gets plus 1k for each of your other characters. Second effect, when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, look at top 2 cards of your deck and put them back on top in any order. So it's pretty decent. It's a good standby target, making it 10/5 on offense and on defense, which is really good. But of course, the drawback is that it doesn't have Encore. And her second effect is pretty legit since you can rearrange the top 2 cards of your deck. And sometimes your opponent does want to ram into your 2/2s because they want to push for damage if they can't kill it. And if they do, you can actually rearrange the top 2, knowing if you're going to cancel or not. So, or control your draw, you know what I mean? So this card's okay. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it lacks Encore does, is the trade-off. So really up to you if you want to run this over something with like a 2/2 10k Encore. Really up to you. But I think this card can be pretty good.
We got another 2/2 here. Crow. 7k base. If all your characters are remnant, this card gets the following abilities. During your turn, this card gets plus 5k power, and it has hand encore. Second effect is ClimaxCombo. Put the coolest landing strategy from your climax area into your waiting room. At the beginning of your attack phase, if you have 2 or more other remnant characters, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this card, and this card gets plus 1k power into the end of your opponent's next turn. So this card is pretty much the Nino from the second booster, I believe. It's
quintuplets.
Quintuplets, yes. Very solid card, very good. Level 2 to pair with standby. He does combo with standby. Perfect. 12k on attack, 13 if you use him with the combo. And then hand encore. Perfect.
And of course, keep in mind, you can stand by him just like Nino and then make him restand on the same turn. That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. So the Nino is really good, and this card is the exact same thing. So it's going to be really good. Mm-hmm. So it's probably better than the last RWBY just because it has Han Encore and a bigger booty on attack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would use this.
I'd use this too. Next up, we have this 3/2 AK Nora. 2 effects. Continuous all your other remnant characters have plus 1500 power. Second effect, when this is placed on stage from your hand, choose the one character with level equal to or lower than your current level in your hand. Put it onto any position on the stage, and that character has plus 2k until the end of the turn. Not really feeling this Nora. The first effect is every other one, so she doesn't affect herself, which is kind of a shame because she's only 8k base. And the second effect, you get to cheat something out for free and give it plus 2k. But no, I think these global 1500s are better to stand by out, and her not giving herself the attack boost just kind of sucks too much.
A card that's definitely not all right.
You're hitting all the broken cards.
Is this Tyrion, dude. This guy, 3/2. If you have 4 or more remnant characters, this card gets -1 level in your hand. During your turn, if you have another remnant character, this card gets plus 2500 power. And the following ability, when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may put that character into your opponent's memory. Last effect, put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. This card is very good. Easy condition for the early play. 11k during the turn he's played with an anti-encore effect. On top of that, stock heal, it's like all phenomenal effects. He is, I think is now, he's definitely the early play of choice now, for sure.
The last one was the Blake, and it had the stock heal as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was off color because blue was good, but it was kind of hard to squeeze, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah.
So now that this guy's in red, and he has the anti-encore, which I think is a big deal.
Yeah, that effect is huge.
Yeah, and then the healing condition's the same. So this card, I think, we think is good. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, this is the card that synergizes with that 1/0 Salem we went over.
Yeah.
But like we said, we don't think you got to run the Salem.
It's not completely necessary.
Nah, but this is a card. Next up, we got this 3/2 10k Cinder. First effect, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a card. If you do, all players return all cards from their waiting rooms to their decks and shuffle their decks. Second effect, this ability activates up to once per turn. During the turn, this card is placed on the stage from your hand. When damage dealt by this card is cancelled, you may deal 1 to your opponent. Not really feeling this card. I don't know. The fact that the burn only affects when it's placed on stage from your hand means you can't really cheat it out with standby to, burn one a little. Mm-hmm. And the first effect is like, it does it for both players. And I just feel like that can really, it's just a little too situational, I think.
Yeah. Next up, we got this Crow level 3. Pay 1, put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, this card gets plus 2k power and the following ability until the end of the turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. And then at the beginning of your opponent's draw phase, if this card is in your center stage, choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus 4k power until end of turn. I think that second effect is so annoying and just like crushing to play against. Dude, you stand by this out.
When you stand by a card out like this, when you're level 2 on your attack phase, like, it's just brutal.
It's
like,
pain.
Their board's already so hard to crush, and now you're giving something 4k. Like,
oh my god, dude.
It's just so annoying to deal with.
Yeah. I guess that first effect, I mean, it's on attack, so if you do stand by him out, you can still use it, which is good. So he's got some use. I think it's a good standby.
I think it's a good tech card.
Yeah,
like 1 or 2 of these, and then you only need to play 1 at level 2 stamp during your attack phase. I think ideally to kind of like really put them behind. So
yeah,
and then if he survives, then boom, you can start burning. Pretty legit. And for our last card today, save the best for last.
Boom.
We have this new 3/2 10k RWBY, 2 soul. First effect, when it's placed on stage from your hand, you heal. Second effect, at the beginning of your attack phase, if RWBY's Awakening is in your climax area, if this card is in your center stage, and if you have 2 or more other characters, choose one of the following effects and perform it. First effect, you can choose one of your other remnant characters, stand it, choose up to 2 of your characters, and they get plus 1 soul until the end of turn. Second effect, deal 1 damage to your opponent, and this card gets plus 1k power until end of turn. Before we get into this card, if you guys are unfamiliar, RWBY's Awakening is actually the standby from the last set, and is actually the climax combo that works with the last RWBY Rose in the last set. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind. So that's like the whole point of this card. But as a standalone card, we think this card it's pretty good. You do have to stand on your other characters, so you can't like play the standby, bring out this RWBY Determined, stand her. You can't do that. And she has to be in the front row, so it's not like you can technically put her in the front row and then use the second effect. It's not really worth it because you're gonna be losing on an attack. Mm-hmm. So you pretty much gotta put her in the back row. She's not a good standby target to play with the climax, but if she restands and you get her out, you can use her next turn. So of course, the idea with this card is that you use it with the last RWBY Rose from the last set, because if you have both of these in the front row, you play RWBY's Awakening, you activate the climax combo of RWBY Rose from the first set, where you get to rest her, deal 3 to your opponent, and then clock shoot something to their opponent's clock. That was really powerful, but she couldn't attack. But now, with the new RWBY Determined, her combo activates at the start of attack phase. So the timing works. So you get to choose one of your other characters and stand it, which is going to be the first RWBY Rose in the first set. And then you give 2 of your characters plus 1 soul to end of the turn, which is really good because now you dealt 3, clock shoot something, restand her, and you give 2 things plus 1 soul. Like, that's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And the climax combo from the last set, the RWBY Rose, is very cost efficient. Like, you just rest her. Mm-hmm. And it's like kind of crazy. And this climax combo is like, you don't have to do it. You don't have to pay anything either.
Yeah.
So it's actually like pretty powerful. And even then, if you don't have the other RWBY from the first set, you get, at the very least, deal 1 damage to your opponent.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty neat card to introduce. Give some synergy and love back to that old RWBY.
Because that Ruby was really good, but
It has a lot of potential. Just not being able to attack is really painful.
yeah. And then kind of had like anti-synergy with their money backup, because like how the hell are you going to build stock if you can't attack? But now can still get 3 attacks in, ideally, with the standby RWBY combo. So you could be strong on offense and strong on defense, unlike before where you could only be strong on offense and not have the money backup defense necessary. So I think it's cool. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So you gotta have the first RWBY. Honestly, you gotta run this with the first RWBY because it's not that good without it.
Yeah. You're better off using another finished combo.
But I am pretty excited for this. I think that last RWBY is really cool. I don't know. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If you give it to that RWBY, it's not gonna have anything in front of it. You could direct attack for 4 soul at the very least. That's busted. But you can start siding with your other characters, trying to get that, perfect lethal damage if necessary. So it's really good.
And that, guys, is all of our leaks. Those are all the red cards, as far as we know, for the new RWBY Premium Booster. Big thank you again to Bushiroad for including us on this project once again.
Yes, we would always a pleasure to be able to show you guys some new cards. And overall, I do think there are a lot of powerful cards in this set. And a lot of fun cards too. The early drop level 3 and the Ricky alone is like already crazy good.
Yeah, there's very good additions already with just this color. So,
and then I think all the other new cards really give 8 Standby the potential to be the main Climax lineup for the new set. Because before 4 Standby 4 Door was good, or people chose to run 8 Door. But now you can consider running 8 Standby. And I do like me some 8 Standby, so I always like to see that. So I think there's a lot of potential with these red cards here.
Cool.
But that is it for this video, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, let us know in the comments or leave us a like or maybe even possibly subscribe for more Weiß Schwarz content. But with that being said, guys, we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.